Okay, this is a review of Google Tables and the Lookup column type. This is going to show some of the quirky behavior that you'll see in the current beta version of Google Tables. Create some questionable results. So you can see I've got a lookup table. It is set to look up from this employees table where we have 34 possible options. And so if you look at the setup of the table column, you'll see it's a lookup. It allows for multiple. This is where things really get quirky. And it's set, you have to pick a summary type, and it's set to list first 20. So in normal operation, you click in here, and one of the first things is you want to pick multiple employees. There is no save or other option that's typically available in a dialog box like this to be able to exit. So to save it, you just have to click out, and it will show the summary as you see here. So pretty straightforward. Now, one of the first things that I've noticed is that if we do this and we add multiple employees, in this case, if we're gonna do more than 20 employees, there's a couple of odd things that happen. First of all, the list cuts off. You cannot get past the first X number of entries, so it only goes up to V, which basically is showing us the first 30 entries only. So you can't get past 30 entries. Anything past 30 entries requires you to know what you're searching for and search for it. So there's no pagination at all. So that's one of the first issues with these types of lists. So that's kind of a problem. The other thing you'll notice is it says a summary of 20, and I can definitely summarize more than 20 entries here. So we'll get up to O, which is 23 entries here. And you can see that is more than 20, despite the summary saying it will only list 20. So let's keep going. So there's our first 30. These are all showing up in here, no problem. Missing the last couple, so that only goes up to O. And so it shows 23. Happens to be the max limit, not 20. Well, that's okay, not really a major issue. But now things really start getting weird. We want to add the last employees, and we've got to literally search for each one. So that's really a huge pain to do. And as you add to this list, it will eventually, you'll see in cases like this where I've got way more than those selected at the beginning, it will show nothing in the search results. So you can see I've got multiple things here. If I go through and select them, if I select everything on this list, there's a breaking point. You get to more than 20 or 30, and it will stop showing anything in the summary box. So somewhere between 23, which is the current display cap that it's got, and the 30 some odd that we have, it will stop rendering. And you can see how slow this process is with this limit on without scrolling and pagination to add all the employees. So I've got all those employees now in there. They're all selected, but here we go. They show up on this list here. No problem now, but they're not showing up in the summary. So some really interesting quirks here. And then if I try to email these, I will email these reports to myself, and those reports on emails don't always show. They start cutting off. So that's the other problem that we have with doing these tables. So this in fact cut off at O, which happens to be, I think, the same 23 limit. So it will only email up to 23. So there's an internal limit that is set to 23, not 20, leaves all the rest of these off, and it creates all sorts of weird problems with Google table lookups and relations and being able to use those for more than 23 related entries.